Deshatari. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra ki jai. Shri Shri Nitai Gauranga ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Guru.
Hari Hari Bol.
So welcome everybody for the question answer session. On the last Friday, which we have every week. So we'll be discussing on any philosophical question you have from Bhagavad Gita or any other practical question you have with regard to practicing the Krishna conscious principles in life, or about chanting, etc., etc. Okay, so you can begin. Who want to ask the first question?
Prabhuji, I have a question, but I will wait until someone else asks.
Fine, sure. Gupta ji has a question.
I have a very vague question.
Okay.
Whenever we see any object, so what happens is the light falls on that object.
Okay.
And then we see that object.
Okay.
Now we are having a lot of thoughts in us. So how do we know about those thoughts? What is the process?
Okay. So your question is basically when light falls on an object,
yeah,
the way you see the object depends on what thoughts you have in your mind.
No. What I'm saying is, you require light.
Okay.
To fall on the object. Say in a dark room, we don't see anything.
Exactly.
When light falls, comes to the window, we are able to see the things.
Yes.
That means for seeing any object,
light is required.
Light must fall on that object.
Exactly.
Then only we are able to see it.
Yes.
That means light is nothing, but in the presence of that, we are able to know something.
Okay. Light is a medium where you can know things.
Light falls, then only we are able to know something.
Exactly.
So we are having thoughts. So how do we know thoughts? What light is falling on those thoughts that we are able to know that?
No, when the light falling on your thoughts.
Which light?
Which light has to fall? Good question. Okay. So the spiritual light from Guru has to fall on our thoughts. This is exactly the prayer which we offer to Guru.
Yeah.
Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. The meaning of this is, I am in the dense darkness, Ajnana Timirandhasya, and the dense darkness of ignorance. Ajnana means ignorance. Timirandhasya means too much dark.
Right.
So this dense darkness of material life is filled with so many concoctions, as you told, thoughts, and all cooked up in our own mind from many lifetimes. So many impressions we are carrying from life after life.
Right.
So all those impressions, in one context, Prabhupada explains, it's like we have so many, whenever our senses interact with sense objects, say for instance, eyes, objects with a form, interact with our form, so that interaction is recorded as a photograph in our mind.
Right.
Okay. So, like that, there are innumerable impressions in our mind in the form of our experiences, in the form of our various relationships, the form of images themselves. Because when you think about somebody who is very close to you, immediately those the images of that person, thoughts of the person is going to emerge in your mind, right? Because the very thinking of that person is triggering you the thought of that person, right? All the images, all the thought, all the different experiences is triggering all the things to you. So like this, our mind is a storehouse of many such impressions. This is called the chittam. Chittam means is the mind, intelligence, and the ego interacting with the various objects of senses in the material world. Since so many lifetimes, millions of lifetimes, the time we have been here, all this is stored up. That's why sometimes suddenly you get a thought which is totally alien to you.
Right.
Somewhere, something has come up. You can't even relate with that. At least not in this life, right? Possible, because our mind is like that. It is having so many impressions. Subtle mind is having so many impressions from the past lives. So what is happening with our present situation is that these impressions, only those thoughts, only those feelings will be rather lifted up, rather reminded to us by Paramatma, Super Soul, based on the present situation. It's like when you work with the computer, whatever programming, so many programs you have already there in the CPU. But with regard to one specific application you are working with, only those applications, specific aspects of working will be prompted. Right? So likewise, in a specific lifetime, based on the karma you deserve, what experience you have to go through, Paramatma will remind you of those.
That is Prarabdha.
Super soul. Paramatma is super soul. Okay, sitting in our heart. He is going to remind you. This is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. He says, I sitting as Paramatma in everybody's heart, I give intelligence, I give memory, I give forgetfulness also. So you forget most of the things of so many lifetimes, and you're only reminded of what you're supposed to be doing now. Or maybe in that lifespan, what you have done, that memory only is given. Otherwise, your life becomes miserable. So like this, our mind is having so many thoughts, unlimited thoughts over so many lifetimes. So all this is creating so much of, thought processing going on in the mind. So, like this, we are in a dense darkness, right? Dense darkness, the material world of creating different life situations in different circumstances, in various, given situations, permutation, combination, so many things have happened. It's all stored up in our mind. It's all there. So, Guru, spiritual master's mercy, what happens is, he, Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalake. He holds a torchlight in the dense, dark world for us, and he tells you, see, what all you have done, what already you have experienced is all of, going to simply keep you in the darkness again and again. This is the light, spiritual path, right? Wherein what all you have done is done. Now move in the right direction. So he opens your eyes and makes you understand this is the torchlight of spiritual knowledge, spiritual understanding, spiritual realization. You please follow this. Then what happens? He opens our eyes and he gives this direction to us through the Vedic understanding. He reveals this knowledge to us. In that way, we are able to awaken ourselves from the deep slumber we are going through. In one of the Vaishnava songs, one of Acharya's Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he writes, we are sleeping on the lap of Maya since long time. So he says, Jeeva Jago, Tora Chanda Bole, Kota Nidra Jao Maya, Pishachira Kule. We have been sleeping in the lap of witch called Maya, which means that, Jadoo. She does, like she's a lady who does sort of black arts. So Maya is like that. So she is captured our consciousness and trying to mislead us. So Guru is going to bring you out of this capturing of Maya and give you the right direction. Otherwise, you will be always in darkness. You think this life, or this is what is very important, and this is what is very thing. That's all over. This life, chapter closed, one more life begins. Like this, life after life, we have been going on. We don't realize that one day we are going to end our life. All of us in big bewilderment, actually. This is the function of Maya. We're going to bewilder our intelligence, bewilder our real understanding, and make us feel as though, oh, I'm not going to die. I'm going to live forever. Right, like this. So, the sunlight is going to shine upon objects and make it clear for us. Likewise, the torchlight of knowledge, which the spiritual master gives us, is going to open up our closed eyes and gives us the right direction. One more place, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that Krishna is like Surya. Krishna Surya Sama. Maya Andhakara. Maya is like dense darkness. Yahan Krishna taha nahi Maya Radhikara. Wherever Krishna is there, Maya's Adhikara is not there. Which means when you keep Krishna always in your heart, then Maya darkness cannot be there. So basically, darkness is not with regard to no light, no current. No. Darkness is of our spiritual enlightenment, spiritual understanding, spiritual knowledge, and I'm spirit soul. Even with ordinary people, all of them are in spiritual darkness, spiritual blindness, basically. All of them are seeing each of them as body. I am body, they are also bodies. That is called darkness. No light, no spiritual light. Right? So Bhagavad Gita begins with this, no? We read the second chapter. What does Krishna chastise Arjuna with? You're speaking like a big scholar, Arjuna, but you don't know what is the difference between living and dead. Right? Living and dead, difference is the spirit soul, and you're not seeing spirit soul, and you're lamenting for what is not worthy of grief. Right? So you are a big fool, number one. So mostly people, 99.9% people in the world are fool number one. Yeah, because they don't have spiritual light, spiritual understanding. They're going on something as their understanding, their knowledge, and in the world they are just thinking, this is everything, this is what I have to do, that I have to do, this I have to do. In one fine day, chapter closed. Right? Prabhupada gives the example of Ravana. Ravana was so powerful that he wanted to build a staircase to heaven, Swarga Loka. Right? And want to take everybody to heaven without any punya. But he only gone away. Right? Like this, our politicians have 5-year plans, 10-year plans. Earlier there were 5-year plans, no? Panchavashika Yojana. So many plans happened, but nothing fructified. Those who made plans only are not there. Right? They are somewhere in some other body. Right? The point is, the darkness of this, our spiritual awakening, is causing us so much of heavy price we are paying for that we are continuing in material existence. So, spiritual master, Prabhupada, is so merciful that he has just come to give this knowledge, this light. Just keeping in touch with him, just hearing one word from him can awaken our spiritual understanding to such an extent that it will, create revolution in our consciousness. Because we were thinking we were going on in one way about our life, but actually our life is not this. Our life is something different. It's what the spiritual understanding. Yeah. When it awakens, that is the level of feeling you get. Otherwise, you think life means I have to work hard, I have to earn money, I have to get name, I have to take care of family, that is, they're entangled so much. Where I was just reading one verse from Bhagavatam, very nice verse. That Bhagavatam verse is spoken by Lord Rishabhadev, one of the incarnations of Lord Krishna. Generally, we know Mahatma means a sannyasi, a sadhu. He speaks about a grahastha sadhu, grahastha Mahatma. You are in the midst of the family, you are taking care of your business, you have your children, everything, but you also can become Mahatma. How? Rishabhadev explains. He says, you do your duties towards your family, society, as a matter of duty only, without attachment. But heart of heart, you are dedicated to Krishna, so much so that Prabhupada gives example of Arjuna. Whatever Krishna wants, I will do. Dedicated. Arjuna was the greatest warrior. He was a householder. Right. And he was also in the palace. All in the midst of that also you can become a great Mahatma. Mahatma means one is always connected to Krishna, attached to Krishna. So right now people are too much busy with what? Dehambara Vartikesh, which means always seeing how I can take care of my body and bodily connections nicely. All the different malls, all the online shopping, online everything, whatever is there, is only meant for body. Body and body maintenance. Am I right? Right. You cannot go beyond this. People are busy also. Shopping. If you could do 24-hour shopping every day, oh, very nice. People think that is not, that is not, that is, it is. What about your soul? Forgotten. So a real grahastha or a Mahatma grahastha is what is required I will do for the body, but not that that is everything for me. Forgetting my real purpose. That is called blackness. So you have to awaken. You can be a very normal person like anybody else, but there's a spiritual awakening in you. That is possible by the mercy of spiritual master like Prabhupada, who by his causeless mercy can awaken that transcendental knowledge in us. Right? So that is what is required. It is exactly what Krishna is trying to tell us in Bhagavad Gita. You Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
I think something happened. 1 second. Okay, sorry. I think there was some application which popped up. Sorry for the interruption. Okay. So basically, your question is concerning about our internal darkness, spiritual darkness which we have. That is exactly what Prabhupada explains in Bhagavatam about Yudhisthira. He was physically blind and also spiritually blind. That should not happen. You may be physically blind, but spiritually awakened. Right? That is what is required. People are physically awakened, physically can see, but spiritually they cannot see. It's exactly Bhagavad Gita is explaining to us that you have to be spiritually awakened and see everybody as not as bodies, but as spirit souls. That is called spiritual awakening. And all this understanding, knowledge comes from by the mercy of Prabhupada. Right? We have to pray to Prabhupada to constantly give this mercy to us. Otherwise, anytime Maya can again cover our knowledge. Because our activities are so much intense in the material world that the covering can come anytime, any moment. Right? So we have to be constantly in. So to be in constant spiritual understanding, we need to be constantly in touch with Krishna, holy name, Krishna's instructions, Krishna's devotees. Then that constant reminder will happen. It's called sadhu sangha. Sadhu sangha, sadhu sangha, sadhu sangha, sarva shastra kahe, lavamatra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hoy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, sadhu sangha means devotees association is what all scriptures are glorifying. And even a little association of devotees can save you from the biggest and greatest danger. Lavamatra means, a small fraction of association also can save you from greatest danger. That's the point. So having a right association of devotees is what makes us to keep us in spiritual enlightenment. These sessions are meant to keep us always, awaken our real understanding about who we are, what we are, reminding us ourselves. That's the effort with which these sessions are being conducted. Okay, I hope I have answered your question.
Very well.
Thank you. Okay, next question, please.
Prabhu, I have one question.
Yes, go ahead, Shanaji. Yes, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
This is regarding our free will.
Okay.
So we are in this material world because of our misuse of the free will.
Exactly.
That is what is explained to us.
Yes.
So when we are willing freely, does that mean that the supreme authority is not supervising that free will usage?
Okay. So your question is, free will means freely you are using it. Why supreme authority is not, monitoring it? Is this your question?
Yes.
Okay, very good. The very definition of free will means you're free.
Yeah.
But freely you can use your willing capacity, right? Desiring capacity. I can desire.
Yes.
So a child, out of its free will, it will go and catch knife. But mother is there behind. Hey, don't catch the knife. I hit you from behind. Right? So why Krishna doesn't do this?
Yes.
Is your question? Am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we have paid a very heavy price because of this misuse of the free will.
Very much.
We are entangled in this material world just because of that free will.
Yeah, exactly. If Krishna would control your free will, rather not control, rather start guiding you and start telling you, you would have not done this. That's what your question is, right?
Yes. Yes.
In fact, Krishna is guiding, control, rather he's trying to tell you every time. But we are so stubborn, we're not listening to Krishna. We are so stubborn and obstinate. We are not listening to Krishna. And Krishna says, okay, do it at your risk. Prabhupada gives an example. A small kid, it is so stubborn and it is telling, no, I want this, I want this, I want this. What? Some plaything. And mother says, no, it will not go. No, I want. Finally, the parents will agree and then, okay, chalo. With Krishna, what happens is, especially when you get a human form, the free will is fully developed. With regard to free will means basically a discrimination power of what is right, what is wrong.
Yes.
What is to be done, what is not to be done. As Krishna explains in 16th chapter, pravrittim cha nivrittim cha janana vidurasura satyam teshu shaucham. na satyam. Like means basically, free will means you have to have the discriminating power of what is right, what is wrong, what is truth, what is untruth, what is clean, what is not clean. This much sense you should have in the human form of life. It's like telling somebody has, yesterday I was getting some, I say, like somebody has sent some messages. Oh, UPSC toppers. UPSC toppers will be going and getting some, positions as, district magistrates or some big positions, some collectors. So a person who is qualified will get a position wherein that position means it comes with some responsibility, right? So if the person doesn't act responsibly, even though he may be posted in a high position, then he will be again demoted, right? So in this context, Prabhupada gives a nice story to us called Punar Mushiko Bhava. You have heard this story, but I will repeat in this context, it is good. And there was one sage was meditating in the forest. One rat came running and started telling, Sage, there's a big cat chasing me. So the sage asked, what do you want? Make me a rat, make me a cat. Okay, so the sage with his command under water, Thastu. So the rat became a cat in no time. So then after some days, this cat came running. Same cat, which was blessed from rat to cat. They're telling now, oh no, what problem? Oh, dog is chasing me. Okay, so what do you want? Make me a dog. Tathastu. So rat became a cat became a dog. After some more days, this dog came. Now what is the problem? No, one tiger has recently come to our village. That is very fearful, and night it is coming and trying to attack me. So what do you want? Make me a tiger. Okay, tathastu. Tiger, when it became a tiger, he started staring and started, about to pounce on the sage only. And sage said, you foolish fellow, I made you from rat to tiger. I can again make you rat. It told Punar Mushiko Bhava. Means again you became a rat. Right? So like this, you may get a human form of life after going through so many species of life.
Yes.
From rat to cat, dog and everything. But Krishna, if you don't act responsibly, again you'll become a rat. That is the point. So human life is with responsibility. That's what I want to say. When there is responsibility, responsibility means you should know what is to be done, what is not to be done. It is exactly what Bhagavad Gita is teaching us from the beginning. The 4th chapter, Krishna says, Kim karma, kim akarmeti, kavayopi atra mohita. Means what is karma, what is not karma, what is to be done, what is not to be done. You should know the human form of life. When you go on the road with a vehicle, you should know the traffic rules. You cannot say the traffic police, I don't know the traffic rules. I don't have license. Then immediately you say, please go back home. Right? So human form of life means it is a responsible life of following the rules, regulations for the human form of life properly. If you act irresponsibly means act like animals. See, animals don't follow any rules. Many times you would have seen in the roads, the dogs are crossing the road, or cows are crossing the road. They don't follow any rules, traffic light. Now it is green, the red light, we should stop here. Do they follow? No. Right? And especially in Vrindavan side, we see when we go for parikrama and all, many times the cows are about to eat the sweets kept outside the sweet shop. But we go and start, oh, sweet is there, let me go and pick. It's possible. It will not allow us, no. Conscience will not allow us. There's a difference between animal and human. So human life comes with a sense of responsibility, a sense of discrimination. So you're supposed to act responsibly with this body. The example I gave you of a very highly posted officer. He's supposed to act responsibly in that position. He cannot act recklessly, he cannot act irresponsibly. That's the point. So free will will be too much for a highly positioned person. Right? See, with regard to animals, they cannot do agriculture, they cannot go to factories, they cannot do anything. They are just depending on whatever available with them for them. Whereas you can transform forests into cities, you can run big factories, you can do a lot of manipulation, and you can do so many things, which means your level of intelligence, your level of thinking is all highly developed. Correct? So your life itself is a life of responsibility. That's why Bhagavad says, Durlabham Manusham Janma. Very rarely you get this human form of life. You may say, oh, now population of humans has become 8 billion. Oh, big number. But in a small pond, there may be billions of fishes. What is your population? Nothing. In your house, there will be 1 billion ants. So the population of other species of life is much more greater than human population. Right? The point here is not to when you don't properly responsibly act, then you have to degrade yourself. Right? So free will comes with responsibility. This point you have to always understand. That's why in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains about this free will in 2nd chapter very nicely. He says, in verse number, he says, verse number 64 of 2nd chapter. Radadveshe vimuktaistu vishayan indriyaicharan atma vashyir vidheyatma prasadam adhikachati. Says, one who can control his senses by practicing the regulated principles of freedom. It's a very important word Prabhupada uses. For us, we say rules, regulations means restriction. No. Rules, regulations are meant to free you from this material world. Animals don't have restrictions. That is how their life is. And they are not penalized for that. But you are supposed to lead a life of rules, regulations that is going to give you freedom. And the whole Bhagavad Gita is meant to train us how to regulate our mind and senses. So free will means free will has to be used with a particular direction. You have a free will to ride your vehicle, but again you are bound by the laws of the traffic. Correct? You have a free will when you're flying in the flight to move anywhere in the flight, but again with rules, regulations. When the announcement comes, there is turbulence in the air, please sit down, you have to sit down. When the air hostess tells you have to say buckle your belt, you have to do that. Don't use toilet at this time, don't use toilet. Which means free will, what you say, is actually with some regulations everywhere.
Restricted free will.
Correct? No? It's not freely free will. That's what people think. Free will means I can do anything, anywhere. Just do it in the road. Within no time, you're not there on the road. You're somewhere in a different world. Correct? So free will is with, that's what Krishna says, regulated principles of freedom. Then only you can obtain the mercy of law. Right now, people think free will means free. Freely talking, freely mixing, freely doing anything.
Everything.
That's what hippies were doing. When Prabhupada went, free life, no restrictions. That is animal life. Any dog can mix with any other female dog. Prabhupada says, hawks don't discriminate between mother, sister, daughter, any female, anybody will have sex. This is the life you want? That's what humans are trying to become now. Free, no restrictions. Free will, no. So free will, you have to pay for it. Right? So human life is meant to use your free will in the right direction.
Restricted free will.
Right? So that is the whole thing which Bhagavad Gita is telling us. You have free will, but you don't know how to use it the right way. So Krishna is guiding you through Bhagavad Gita as it is. Krishna is sitting as Paramatma in your heart. Krishna, through his pure devotees like Prabhupada, has established organizations. Krishna has descended as holy name. What more guidance you want? Enough guidance is there, but we are so foolish. Nobody is guiding me. I am free. That is the problem, right? So all guidance is there. God is sitting as CCTV in your heart. He is watching every action of yours. What you are thinking, what you are doing, what you are smelling, everything is seeing. Recording also. CCTV running 24 hours throughout your life as Paramatma, right? But we are not even bothered. CCTV is there. We go on doing all nonsense. If all the recording is shown to somebody, finish, your life is gone. What all you have done from your birth, right? So Krishna has at least kept confidential to you only. Okay. I know you know. Chup chup. Somebody comes to know, finish. Big scams will happen. Your wife may divorce you. Right? Some fights may happen in the house. I'm just giving you examples. So like this, it's so privately kept only between you and Paramatma. Paramatma is so intimate to you that he's keeping it silent. Just imagine, when one incident comes out, what you have done, nonsense. Finish. Right? So Paramatma has kept it so confidential, so private for you, so intimate for you. But we don't appreciate this. That's the problem. So there is enough ample guidance, ample directions given. Lord has come in repeatedly. He came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He came as is already come as holy name. You stand Hare Krishna is there. Even then, we don't want to take his association and want to go on and want to use our free will unrestrictedly. See, free will has to be used restrictedly, the way Krishna wants us. Then more you use it restrictedly in the way Krishna wants, the more you become spiritually free.
Yes.
Materially, you go on using your free will unrestrictedly, you'll become materially entangled. A nice example is given in this Bhagavatam. 2-3 places it is given. A wonderful example. You know, in the village, a bull or a cow is tied with a rope to one, rod.
Yeah.
The length of the rope decides how much movement it can go around in that particular area. Say the length of the rope is, say, 10 feet. That is the only distance it can.
Yes.
For some reason, the cow has going such a way that the rope is more entangled in the rod. Then that 5 feet will become 2 feet. Restriction is, the movement is restricted, na?
Yes.
Or this is an example of material entanglement. We think we are free, we are free, we are free. But we are getting entangled more and more.
Yes.
And our freedom is restricted more and more. Spiritual freedom is restricted. And you'll be degraded further and further. Spiritually, if somebody comes and puts a 20-meter rope, 20 meters is like a big feed, it can go around. Right? Krishna wants to not even keep any rope for you, want to make you free. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, no? Sarvagataha. Soul means it can go any part of the whole creation. Narada Muni is a spiritual spaceman. He can come to your house, he can go to Vaikuntha, he can go to America within no time. Possible. Because he is spiritually free. Just see the freedom. Because he is spiritually elevated, he can travel unrestrictedly. Materially, you are so restricted, you can't even go to your neighboring state or neighboring country, Pakistan. They'll shoot you. Right? Going to America means you have to have a big procedure of visa. Problem. In our own earth, we have so many restrictions to go to other countries. Correct? This is called material freedom. Spiritual freedom means you're spiritually free to go any part of Lord's existence. Spiritual, material, within no time. Durvasa Muni, he went from Mathura. Mathura, there is a nice place, pastime, where Durvasa Muni pastime happened here with Ambarish Maharaj. So he went within 1 year, he went to Kailasa, he went to Brahmaloka, he went to Vaikuntha. Yogi's power, you see. So they are becoming spiritually free. See, materially, you want to be free means you become more conditioned.
Yes.
The conditions of the material world restrict you. Now I want to freely eat ice cream, 10 ice creams today. Tomorrow you can't even speak up. You'll be bedridden, right? Freely eat ice cream, so next day you're bedridden. Right? So like this, material conditions are so strict and stringent, it will immediately put you in trouble. That's why Krishna says in Gita, that Daivi Yesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya. The material nature, which is actually my nature, divine nature, is very stringent in the rules, regulations. Little you want to do some gadbad, finish. She will catch your neck. Like police. You want to go a little here and there, finish, you're arrested. That's the point. So free will in the material world is actually to be properly regulated. That's exactly what Krishna explains in the whole of Bhagavad Gita. Every chapter. Why Krishna says you have to control your senses, control your mind, control your actions, do like this, do like this. Why rules, regulations? Because left to ourselves, we want to freely do anything and everything, and we don't know where we are going. Right? So there is a regulation in the human form of life. That's why Krishna says regulated principles of freedom. When you regulatedly use your free will, it will only free you more. If you unregulatedly use them, no restrictions, then it will entangle you more and more. That's the point. So Krishna wants us to lead a very responsible and a very meaningful, purposeful life in this human form of life. That is the reason for which we have got this human form of life. If you unrestrictedly, without any proper rules, regulations, go on doing anything and everything, it will entangle you more. It will condition you more and more. That's why it's called conditioned life, liberated life. More you're in bhakti, devotion, serving Krishna, this body may be a condition, but after this you are liberated, you are free. It is called mukti. Whereas for ordinary person, he may think, oh, I am very free, I have a lot of money, I have that, this and all, but that's an entanglement for him. He doesn't know what is Krishna consciousness. Doesn't practice any Krishna conscious principles. It's going to entangle him. He may think I'm very free, but next life he will become an animal or some other lower species of life. That you don't have control at all. But with regard to a devotee, Krishna assures, you will become so free that you will become free from this body. That is the real freedom. Use your free will to become free from this body, bodily entanglement. Yaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti so Arjuna. 4th chapter Krishna explains to Arjuna. After giving up this body, you will come to me, Arjuna. When your mind is absorbed in Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tattvata. When your mind is absorbed in Krishna's birth, activities, his instructions, in truth you understand all of them, that is itself is good enough for us to go back to spiritual. That is where you have to use our free will. See, free will is acting every moment. Moment to moment is in our custody. That is the energy of soul. Right? Moment, what you want to see, what you want to hear, what you want to experience, it is all in your hands. But how to use them, how to use it? I give the example of a child. A child is ignorant, innocent, not properly trained. It will misuse its free will. So right now, that is what has happened to us. We were not trained, not cultured as per the Vedic rules, regulations from the beginning of our lives. So we are already spoiled children. So Prabhupada's establishment of ISKCON is meant to give this intervention at any stage of our lives to bring us to the right direction. Whatever our background is, doesn't matter. From now you start following. That will take care of rest of your what you have done, and now onwards you please follow all these rules, regulations. That's what Prabhupada says. That is going to save you. That is going to be the right use of your free will. So in that way, there is enough guidance. Enough guidance from Krishna and Krishna's pure devotees, the form of holy name, organization, prasadam, books, right? All these things are there. We should use our free will to take full benefit of them. Right? Mobile, you use your free will, one button you press, it will go to some other nonsense site. One more button you press, it will go to Prabhupada's lectures. Correct? Free will.
Yes.
Right? You have a remote TV. One button you press, it will go to some disco dance or some movie. One more button you press, oh, some devotee is giving a nice lecture, let us hear. ISKCON TV. Depends, see, all one button only, it is free will. Every time we have free will. But how you exercise your free will, that requires your involvement. That much Krishna has given you freedom. So that is what free will means. Prabhupada says, if Krishna doesn't give this much free will to you, where is the question of love? If you give your child pocket money of 200 rupees and tell that child, no, you should go and spend like this only. That is not called love. Right? Then please take your pocket money, I don't want. Child will say. That much freedom you have to give. Right? What is the, that much, what is the freedom? You use, you have trained your son so well that he will judiciously use the money in the right way. If the child purchases something for you and brings back that, some item for you as a gift, you'll be so happy. Likewise, Krishna has given us the gift of this body, gift of, our time, everything. So more and more used to Krishna, Krishna is very happy. More you use it for your own sense gratification, you entangle yourself. So Krishna has given that. Krishna is not interfering with your free will. That is one important quality of Krishna. It doesn't interfere with your decisions. But he has given enough directions, enough, he's sitting as Paramatma. When something wrong you want to do, one message will come from inside. WhatsApp message will come. Don't do. But no, I want to do. I want to see. I want to eat. I want to hear. Okay, do it at your risk. Right? So Paramatma is guiding you and prompting you again and again, but you want to go beyond that. You're so stubborn. So all this can be rectified when you are constantly practicing bhakti. All this, these drives, these temptations will be little reduced. It will become almost nil when you start practicing bhakti. Slowly. And the free will to only choose what Krishna wants, what Prabhupada wants, is a big blessing. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. There's a mercy of, big mercy to have the right thing in your life always. Prasadam adhigacchati. So prasada is the mercy of Krishna. If you have this, to use your free will for only Krishna's service. People are using free will for entangling themselves. That's the problem. Hope I answered your question.
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Absolutely correct. Yes.
Thank you. So next question, please. Okay, there's a question online. Question from one of the participants. I think Anand Rupa Mataji has asked this. Kindly throw some light how everyday reading Prabhupada books will improve our chanting. Many times I miss reading. Okay. So every day reading Prabhupada books, how it will help our chanting? Very good question. See, Prabhupada has, first of all, you have to understand the importance of reading. Why reading is important. Reading is something very personal, and wherein you're going to absorb your mind with the spiritual master's own words, Prabhupada's own words, you're going to associate with. And associating with Prabhupada's own words means associating with the transcendence, spiritual subject matter. Prabhupada's words, Krishna's words are not different. Because Prabhupada says, these books he has not written, Krishna has made him to, dictated him to write this. So, Prabhupada always stressed that as followers of his movement, we have to read. Because everything what Prabhupada had to say, Prabhupada has written in his books. And many times Prabhupada said, if you can't understand anything, read again and again and again. It will be revealed. It's a fact. So, just like chanting is important, but right now our quality of chanting is not up to the mark, or rather it is not as per the expectation from what the authorities want us to do. Authorities meaning what Krishna wants us to do, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants us to do, what Acharyas want us to do. It is not the level we have come to. So, in that context, when you read Prabhupada's books, at least you will put your consciousness in a particular subject matter wherein you will see the gap. Oh, I'm doing something now. This is what I'm expected to do. When you don't read, you'll not even find this gap. You will think whatever I'm doing is correct. Reading means knowing. Reading means understanding. Right? So, this constant process in our life. So there is no limit to this knowing and understanding throughout our life. There's so much to know, so much to understand. Right? Every aspect of Krishna consciousness, every process of Krishna consciousness has so many details. Right? So definitely, of all the different processes Prabhupada has given us, chanting is the most important. If we don't chant, then we cannot sustain our Krishna consciousness. And to sustain our Krishna consciousness, we are chanting, and to improve our chanting quality, we have to read. Why reading is so important is because why chanting is important, and during chanting, what are the various small things which we need to follow, and chanting otherwise will become a mechanical process. Right? I have to chant something. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. And in many places, Prabhupada says, chanting should be done with feeling. Right? So what is this feeling? Why you have to have feeling? And what is this holy name? See, if you don't read, Prabhupada gives one example, or rather he quotes generally what is happening in India. People have big temples, there's some worship going on. People will simply come and visit and go away. So, as I told you, reading means hearing, reading means knowing, reading means understanding. So when you don't hear, when you don't know, when you don't hear, when you don't understand, then the worship will become a ritual only. We don't want to keep chanting only as a ritual. Chanting is a relationship. These things will be revealed to you. Either you read or hear at least. Prabhupada says morning 1 hour you should hear Bhagavata lecture. It is as good as reading. Because anyone devotee or Prabhupada lecture, or devotee was prepared on a particular verse, he is talking about that verse, you hear. So, you hear morning 1 hour, evening at least half an hour to 1 hour, Prabhupada says you should do this every day. That will keep you in a proper spiritual health. Why it is so important is, in our life, there are so many forces acting. I told you in one of the sessions, there are the forces of Guna, Kala and Karma. Okay, this Guna, Kala, Karma means what type of modes would influence you, when means at what time, Kala, Guna, Kala, and what type of karma will come to you. Suddenly there will be a very miserable situation in your life, very troublesome situation in your life, wherein you may think, chanting and all not possible, leave it. Right? This thought will come. Maya is trying to test you. So forces of Guna, Kala, Karma, it's like a pravaha, it's like a flood. It is constantly influencing our life. Guna, Kala, Karma, pravaha. When you are reading and chanting and performing your bhakti, basically doing sadhana. See, the whole sadhana program which Prabhupada has given, morning time for us, has hearing, chanting, sankirtan, and also reading. All these things are there. It's a complete holistic process. I'll only chant, I'll not read. At least here, no, somebody is talking. You hear Bhagavatam lecture every day. Should know subject matters in Bhagavatam, what is there. So the point is, somehow you should take time to hear or read Prabhupada's books. Nowadays, it is all available in audio form also. Online. Right? So here, Prabhupada or any of the devotees from our temples who is having this talks is important, because the books has, when you read the books, you get into the depth of the subject matter. Your mind, your consciousness will become absorbed in that. That's why it is important. So when you read nicely, you can chant nicely. And when you chant nicely, what you read, you can understand nicely. It's like complementing each other. It's a fact. You go on doing this, you will see in the same Bhagavad Gita what you have read 5 years back. You go on chanting continuously, nicely. Reading also goes on. Same Bhagavad Gita, some chapter which you have read 5 years back, again you read, oh, nice realization I had. So nice, so wonderful. Because Krishna has revealed more knowledge, more mercy through his knowing potency to you, that he's revealing knowledge to you more and more. That's how it is. So chanting and reading or hearing is complementing each other, because otherwise anybody comes and asks you, what are you chanting? Simply, muttering holy name, simply Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. This was the allegation which one of the professors in Berkeley University, 1973 or 74, he had put on devotees of Hare Krishna movement. Because devotees wanted to have a session in the college, University of Berkeley. But the professors, they were a little skeptical, and they were not able to understand what these people are simply chanting. So when this came to Prabhupada's notice, this was published in one of the leading newspapers, Los Angeles Times, 1974. When this came to Prabhupada's notice, Prabhupada started exchanging a letter with the professor and started telling, this chanting is not simply repeating something; it is having a great spiritual significance. He started quoting verse. He quoted many shastric evidence why chanting is so important. What Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. When Krishna is repeatedly telling, Tatatam kirtayanto ma vitantasya dridavrita. Constantly chanting is what is important. Always chanting is very important. So Krishna authority is telling us. So Prabhupada quotes so many scriptures, Vedas, Puranas, then other scriptures, and it's an exchange of letters. This is in a book called Science of Self-Realization. I recommend that you read this. Scriptural basis of Krishna consciousness. The scriptural basis of the scriptural basis is important for us to strengthen our own conviction of what we are doing. Otherwise, our mind is very unstable. And Maya's influence in the outside world is so much. Just like recently there's a movie released in South, the Kerala story. So many things, they are putting allegations. Right? Unless you are spiritually, scripturally strong, no, you cannot defend them. You'll get carried away. Right? Because nowadays Maya is so strongly acting in different ways that there are people to pull you down, shake your faith. So if you want to remain neophyte forever, then don't read. I am there, Krishna is there, over. You have to move forward. You have to become Madhyama Adhikari. Not only I am there, Krishna is there, Krishna's devotees are there. There are many ignorant people. There are some envious people also. I have to deal with them accordingly. That is next level. So we have to advance in our bhakti. So reading that way is very important. Otherwise, it will only further make us lose our enthusiasm, lose our proper attitude towards what we are doing. We'll be simply taking it as ritualistic. That's the point. That's why it helps. It greatly helps. Whether hearing from authorized devotees, Prabhupada, or reading yourself, all going to help us in all this. Okay, fine. I think we are overshooted our time. Let's close now, and then we'll continue our discussions next time. Okay, thank you everybody. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.